In this piano tutorial, I want to share a progression that I heard a couple of days ago. And this progression is actually in a minor key, right? It would be, in this case, an F sharp minor, but we'll refer to it in terms of its relative major, which is A, right? So we're going to call the F sharp minor the 6. And it's a very basic progression, but what I'm going to do is add elements to the progression to make it sound more advanced. And it's actually probably a progression that at the end of it, you've probably heard it before. So if you have, I invite you to comment down below where you have heard the progression. And before we get into the lesson, quick reminder that I have a piano course available, and you can find all of the information in the first link in the description box below, okay? So this progression is very simple. We start on the 6, right? F sharp minor, then the 5, which is E major, then the 4, which is D major, and then the 3, which is actually going to be a C sharp major, right? Usually when we talk about 3s, we would play a minor chord, but in this case, we're referring to the 3 within the harmonic minor scale, okay? So a quick music theory lesson, right? The F sharp natural minor scale would be, right? We have this E and then F sharp, but the harmonic minor would be an F instead of the E and then an F sharp, okay? And the reason for this is simply to have a more pleasing harmony, right? Instead of playing 3 and then 6, when we make the 3 major or even dominant, you can sort of feel that tension and release, okay? So that was a quick music theory lesson. So we have the 6, the 5, the 4, and the 3. Now, one thing that we can do to this progression is starting with the 3. We can actually add a suspended chord right before the 3 and play something like this. Then we repeat the progression. So what I did here, instead of playing the 3 directly, I created this, you can even call it a suspense, right? Or that tension by playing a C sharp suspended 4 chord, right? When we play that sus 4 chord, it has that feeling of wanting to resolve into the major chord, right? So suspended, then into this. So that F sharp wants to come down to the F. So that's where we play the suspended chord, and then we go back to the 6. Now let's switch up the progression slightly by adding different extensions to these chords that we have, right? So we can play something like this, right? We start off on the 6. And as you can see here, I'm not going to play all of the notes, right? I'm actually going to play F sharp, the 5th, the 10th, the 5th again, and then I'm going to skip the F sharp and actually just play the A, okay? So that's going to be our first chord, our 6. Then for our 5 chord, instead of playing the E in this way, right, the same voicing as the 6, we're actually going to play this extension for the E. We're going to play an E major 6 chord, okay? So we have 6, 5. Then for the 4 chord, instead of playing a D major in this voicing, we're actually going to use the same major 6 voicing. Right, so D major 6. So we have and then we're going to include the suspended chord from before, right? So now what we can do actually is, since this is a progression that repeats, we can sort of switch the progression around the second time around, okay? So we start off with this. And then instead of going to the 6, we're actually going to modify it slightly. We're going to play a D over F, okay? So this is the voicing right here, F sharp, D, A, D, and A, okay? And then for the 5 chord, instead of playing the E major 6 that we had before, we're actually going to change the voicing slightly and play a C sharp minor over E. Right, so we have D over F sharp, then C sharp minor over E, and then we go back to that D major 6, and then the suspended chord resolving to the 3, okay? So that all that together would be right. So now what we can do is sort of add different arpeggios to the progression. And this is where you probably have heard this progression, right? It's part of a couple of songs out there that have been sampled, okay? So the movement that I'm doing here, I'm just alternating between the outside notes and then the inside note, okay? So then we do the same thing but with the variation of the progression. Okay, so as you saw, I also included some movements with my left hand as well, right? For example, Now that we understand this part of the progression, we can actually switch some of the chords even more, right? In this case, we're adding substitutions to the progression. So instead of playing a 6, 5, 4, and then a 3, we can actually do this, right? Even using similar voicings or maintaining the voicings that we had in our right hand. For example, we can play a 6, then a 1, then a 4, and then the 3. So instead of playing a 6, 5, we can play a 6, 1, and then the 4, and then the 3. Sorry, once again. Right, in this case, instead of going to the 6, I actually went down to the 2, which is a B minor. So instead of playing, I played, and then back to the 1, which is A, and then the 4, and then the 3. Another change or another substitution we can do is instead of playing a 4, we can actually play a 2. So it would be right. I changed some of the things there, but you're hopefully getting the idea behind this progression. So that's basically it for the lesson. Quick reminder again, I have that piano course available in the first link of the description box below. But hopefully you're able to get creative with this progression and use it within a song that may include a similar progression, right? This is a very commonly used cadence where we go from the 6 to the 3 through the 4 and then to the 3. Okay, so 6, 5, 4, and 3. So hopefully you're able to learn something, and I'll see you in the next video.